Hello everyone and welcome to All Things Watch. In this video we are going to talk about the brand new movie Borderlands, and this movie had an absolute stacked cast. It had Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Edgar Ramirez, Jack Black, Janina Gavankar, Florian Montanu, Ariana Greenblatt, I believe they pronounce her name, or Greenblatt, and just a phenomenal cast overall. And after seeing this movie, and even while viewing this movie, I could not believe what I was seeing. How can a movie with such a stacked cast and even a relatively okay, director, Eli Roth, come to this? How was the final culmination of the writing and directing and acting and performances and all these things come together and make such a steaming pile of crap? This was not only a bad movie, but probably one of the worst movies that I've ever seen in my life. And there were times in this movie when you could actually, I feel like I've seen better costumes, at Comic-Con, or cosplay. I've seen things done from fans with cosplay done better than this, fan films done better than this, and it's just ridiculous how silly it was. It was almost to the point where it become cartoonish. The actor, I feel like the actors did the best of what they could with what they had. Cate Blanchett, I think that she performed as well as she could with what she was given, but the writing was so bad that I just feel like she wasn't able to. I don't feel like any of them were able to shine because there was just nothing there to hold on to. They didn't have the script to be able to make this amazing movie. So you can have the best actors in the world giving their best performance, but if the writing is bad and the directing is bad and the special effects is bad and it looks cheap, then you're just going to have a crappy movie. So no matter who you have, you can attach any name to any project, but if everything else doesn't fall in line, then it's going to be a bad project. The actor cannot carry the whole movie all the time. The performances are just not enough. You have to care for these characters. You have to care for the world. And that's one thing that I think that most, not all, but I would say a majority of video game franchises have failed with when they're trying to adapt these franchises into a story, into a movie. I think that they always, you have to understand that a video game can oftentimes take people up to 24, maybe even 48 full hours of gameplay to beat. You could be playing a video game for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks and still not, have the game beaten or finished or concluded. And during all this gameplay, you're having all these different sceneries, sometimes different fighting sequences depending on what type of game you're playing, and you're going on this journey with characters that are developing as the story goes on. That's why some stories, like RPG games, like something like The Last of Us, or even like the old Tomb Raider games, you really like these video games because of the fact that you're using and utilizing and controlling even these same characters and following their journey with each chapter or each level or each part of the game. And then oftentimes they'll do a second game, like a sequel, and then another sequel, and so on and so on and so on. Another great example is Uncharted. The Uncharted video games are really, really good, but the movie not so much. It's because they veer too much away from, they try to cram the whole video game into one single movie, whereas instead what you should do is look at a video game and look at the world of the video game, and then look at the types of characters, and then see if you can tell a good story in this world, with these characters. Don't try to make the movie look like the game. Instead, try to make the game fit into a good movie, because the movies and the games people are not going to sit down. You're not going to be able to sit down and make a 24-hour, 48-hour long movie. So make one single movie, select like one single mission of the game, and then do it. And that will be the whole movie. The whole objective, that one objective to that one level will be the whole movie. And then you could make a franchise out of it. But to me, I could not believe after watching this how bad this adaptation was. Here in 2024, studios still don't know how to make a good video game movie, and I just thought it was kind of crazy. I think by now we should already have this, figured out. In my opinion, one of my favorite video game franchises that were brought to the big screen was definitely Tomb Raider. I think Angelina Jolie nailed that role. I thought she was a great Lara Croft, even better than the new rebooted adaptation. I think Angelina Jolie did a phenomenal job. You also have to understand that at the time when Angelina Jolie was, you know, cast for this role for Tomb Raider, she wasn't this huge actor like the big list of names that, you know, I just named out to you. She wasn't as big as what Kate Blanchett is. She wasn't as big as Kevin Hart is, you know, at that time. She had a few projects. She's done a couple great roles, but she wasn't this huge megastar like a lot of these names are. And so, you know, and sometimes I feel like in this movie, especially because it is such a bad movie, the actors almost outshine the characters. You know, I wasn't looking at this movie and seeing Lilith, a character named Lilith. I was looking at this movie and seeing Kate Blanchett dressed up in a really bad, crappy, cheap cosplay uniform. So I think that is one of the ways that this movie really failed, is that it looked cheap and felt cheap, and the stars that they had attached to it were just way too big for the project itself. Whereas back in the Tomb Raider days, Angelina Jolie was a known name, but she wasn't a megastar. And then her co-stars were kind of similar. They had a couple big actors in there, especially with the second one, but you know, it was never explosive. You know, the role really suited her, and she really suited the role. And I think that that's why those movies, in my opinion, were far greater than most of the video game adaptations that we get today, including even The Last of Us. I can sit down and rewatch Tomb Raider 1 and 2 over and over and over, but I can't sit down and watch The Last of Us over and over and over on HBO. I've seen it once and I enjoyed it, but I'll probably never go back and watch it again. I will watch season 2, but I won't go back and rewatch the whole franchise, whereas I could sit down and keep rewatching Tomb Raider, because I just felt like, you know, it was just almost a perfect blend. And don't get me wrong, those movies had errors and had flaws, but I do think that they were more, you know, I do think that they're better than what they're given credit for, and I do think that they have a higher rewatch value than most of the things that we have today. But anyways, folks, that's my review of Borderlands. I think it was the worst movie ever. I thought it looked cartoonish. The CGI was bad. Sometimes it actually looked like they were on a soundstage, and I will never ever recommend this movie, or ever go and see this movie again, or even if they make a sequel. Like, I'm done with this whole movie franchise of Borderlands. So let me know in the comment section below if you've seen it, and if you liked it, tell me why or why not. If you like this video, click that subscribe button, and until the next one, take care.